Today we're going to be taking a look at Lucent Windows and more. So we'll just go through how most of these things work and hopefully get you set up so that you can learn how to use parts of your site. So you're going to go to your URL and then type in wp-admin. That'll take you to the login page. And my computer's going slow. There we go. And this is where you'll put in your username or the email address that you're using in the password that we've given you. And here we are. This is the back end, and we're going to go through these things here on the left-hand side in the black, and nothing over here in the right-hand side is really useful right here. So I'll first click on updates, and under updates, sometimes there'll be like a little number, like there's a little 2 right there. There'll be a little number, and there will be updates, and you can check all of them. There'll be a little box next to them. You can check all of them and click update if you would like. But we regularly check our websites and update them on a regular basis. So since we are hosting your site, you actually don't have to worry about that at all unless you want to. You can. So moving on, posts are if you were to do a blog post, which you're not currently doing. So let's look at media. This is where any photos used on your site, or if you had any PDFs or anything like that, would be located. And there's not a whole bunch here, but this is where they all are. You can edit them here. You can add new and then drag and drop them from your files, or click select there. If any place that you would need to add media, it'll give you the option, so you don't really have to worry about this, but just so you know, that's there. So let's look at forms. Under forms is your contact us form that's on that home page. So let's look at it real quick so you can see what's in here. There's not a whole lot. So if you ever want to change anything, this is pretty simple, but if you ever want to change anything, all you have to do is come to this right-hand side and click any of these fields. So you can add a single line of text, and that would look like these, and you could just change it. Or you could add radio buttons. Let's just look at that real quick. And then if I wanted to change this, I could click on this and say, how did you hear about us? And then you could have options or whatever. And then you can get rid of options, or you can add more options. You can make it a required thing or not. And then these, you can just drag them wherever you want them to go. You can delete them. And if you wanted to change the wording on this, then you would just change it and type whatever you wanted there. And the same goes for these. You can add, like I said, buttons, or you can add date, phone, address, anything like that. And then you just click update. Whenever you've made it. You can, or that's to save your changes, sorry. And then form preview. This doesn't look exactly how it looks on the site, but it will give you a little bit of an idea. And you can look at entries, or you can click entries over here. And this is who's looked at yours, or who submitted an entry. So if we go to forms, you can see the entries here. And if you go to settings and notifications, this is where we can create a notification for. What I would do is duplicate it, and then I would put here whatever email you want these sent to. So I'd put this email right here, and then I'd click update notification, and it'll be ready to go. So we'll probably need to do that pretty soon, so that you can start looking at who's making submissions on those forms. And that's pretty much all you need to know there. I would just go ahead and go into notifications and add that email. I might actually do that when I finish this video. Look up your email and just go ahead and put that in for you. But just so you know, in case you want to add another email, that's how you would do that. So let's move on to pages. I don't know that you actually have any pages. That's right, you don't. Because everything is just on this home page here. So you don't actually have any internal pages, which is really simple and easy, and it's great for what you need. So let's look at homepage areas. That's the next thing that's important. Comments would be like if you had a blog So we'll move to homepage areas, and these are all the areas of your homepage here. So they're not in the same order here as they are here. That's done under reorder, and you would drag these however you want. If you want to change the order, you would just drag them up and over to wherever you want. So let's look at these, and under this is a revolution slider. So under here is just short code for a slider. So it's just going to be short code right there, and I'll look at the slider. I'll show you that in just a moment. And let's look at intro. This is just some words here with your mission, I'm guessing. So yeah, so you've got our mission that's set to heading 1. Everything is centered, and then so this is where you could update any of the wording. And if you scroll down, this is where the formatting takes place, but you don't actually need to change any of the formatting on this page. It's set up just to be white background. So if you ever want to change any of the wording, this is where you would do that. You can add bulleted lists, you can bold, italicize, do anything that you would do anywhere else. You can hyperlink to an external site, you can add photos through the add media button, and then always hit update when you're done. So let's take a look at the products button, or the products homepage area, which is this one. And you can see there's a picture in the background with an overlay and then this information. So each of these are, so what we've done, this is shortcode for putting them into 2 columns like that. So you could just, if you ever wanted to create a new homepage area, you could just mimic exactly how this shortcode is here and put them in the same places, and you would have those 2 columns in the same way. And they're also hyperlinked, as you can see, to an external page, and you can edit that right there. So you could copy and paste a new link and then hit apply. And then you would always hit update to save any changes. And so if you scroll down, then you can see in the background is this picture of whatever we've chosen, some windows. And so you can choose here whichever one you want and click add file. And then you would select a color. And if you want to use this same color on another slide or another homepage area, you could copy and paste that color code and use it. And then you see that this is slid all the way over here to make it have this overlay. You can adjust that how you like. And then we've clicked these certain items just for formatting. And again, you can just mimic exactly how this is done on this page for another homepage area. And again, anytime you want to make changes, so if you ever wanted to add another bullet item, you would just type the words that you're looking for and then highlight them and then type in whatever link. So, and then click update. And that's how you would do that. So let's look at, I created this homepage area for you recently. And that takes you down there to that form. And that is Lucent Gutter Shield. And so this is done the exact same way. I added the photo here. I put a background color over the top, and then I adjusted this transparency. I played around with it till I thought it looked good. And just clicked yes on padding right there, and then it has this look. And then the other thing I did here was I made this text, I used header 1 for this text here, paragraph for this text, like we did on the others. It's all centered. I made this link to the contact section of the page here. So it's just, that's how I do that. And that's how these menu items are made. And I'll show you that in just a minute. And then I also made all of this text white so that it would look good over the top of just the same way that this text is white. I made this text white. And then this particular text is made into a button. And then, so I'll go ahead and make a fake homepage area just to show you some of those items. For your map, that's just going to be short code for your map. And then we made it the appropriate height and width in the map section. I'll show you that also. And for the contact page, that's just short code as well for the contact section. So you've got some wording above it there. And so that's done with this is in header 1, and that's how you get that nice section right there. We've got this hyperlinked to your email. And then this is shortcode for your form, and that's just added through here. Select your form. You wouldn't display the title or the description, and insert form. And then wherever your cursor is, which it was right there, it adds it. And so that's how that one is done. And it's just, you've got a background color on this form, but we've actually done some work on this section of the form so that it looks nice. So you might not want to mess with anything there. If you ever mess anything up, you can always email us and we can try and help you get that back to the way that you want it to look. So those are all the homepage areas. Let me just make a fake one real quick to show you kind of how you would do this. And I don't know that you're ever going to want to do this, but just for the sake of showing you, just so that you know. So I would make this heading 1. I would make all of this. So if you just wanted to keep if you wanted to do a white background, all you'd have to do is come down here and click this. And let's say format this to a button, and then I'm going to do publish that, and then I'm going to reorder it so that it goes directly in between those two things. So let's refresh this and see what it looks like. So there you go. It's right there in between those things. You've got your button. So let me go back into that and make it one with a picture in the background just to show you. And I want to make this, white text this time. And I want to choose a picture. Let's choose this one. I'm going to put a background color. Like I said, you can copy and paste whatever color you want over there. But let's go ahead and do this. Then you can play around with how this looks. And so let's try this and see how it looks. So there it is. And then the picture is kind of not where I want it to be, so you can change the position of the photo here. And I could change that transparency overlay of the photo and make it look different if I want. So there you go. That's how you would do that. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And you'll notice that it shows up. It doesn't go away forever, but it shows up in a little trash folder where you could restore it if you don't want to delete it, or delete it permanently. You're not currently using this staff members function. Genesis is the theme of your site. So let's take a look at appearance, and this is where we'll look at widgets and we'll look at menus. I don't know, we don't have a whole lot in widgets, and this is just your logo, which is here in the top. So if that ever changed, you could choose a different image and change the size of it here. And your custom menu is there right here at the top. And that may be, you have a social media menu or contact. Let's see what's down here. I think that's your This might be your social media menu, that contact button there. So if you ever wanted to add anything to the widgets, you can add an image, or you can add, your site won't exactly look the same because there's some custom formatting that we've done to make that work. So this is just so you know where that stuff is. I'm going to move on to menus and look here at your top, the menu that shows up at the top here. Let's get rid of that page I created, that little section I created. It's gone now. These all just link to certain parts of the homepage, and so it's just created by making a custom link and going to that certain part of the page. And we've put code in the back end of the page so that it works like that, so that works correctly. So it's a little bit more complicated if you ever want to add a menu item in if you add a homepage area and you want to add a menu item, that's going to be a little more complicated. You're going to need to add code to the back end of that homepage area. So if you do end up wanting to do that, you can let us know and we can try and help with that. I don't foresee that being something that you want to change, but just so you know, if you wanted to change the navigation label, you totally could change that and then hit save menu. And then let's look at this contact menu. Yeah, this is your Facebook. So if you ever wanted to do the same thing with a Twitter page, or if you add other social media, all you would have to do is go to custom links and then type in the URL for your Twitter right there. So copy and paste your URL, and then you would copy and paste this to the link text and then just change where it says Facebook to Twitter in both places. Like that. And then you click add to menu and hit save menu, and then it would show up down there at the bottom with the little Twitter bird, and it would show up right there and it would look good. So that's all you need to know about menus. Plugins, you don't need to worry about. You can add new plugins to your site to change things around if you learn how to do that and want to do that. Totally okay. Probably not going to do that. Users, this is where I'm going to create, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to create an admin login for you, and then this is where you can change your password if you would like. So moving on, tools, settings, SEO, none of this you need to worry about. The next thing that you would be interested in is slider revolution, and that's what creates this slider at the top here. And so what we've got on here is a static layer, and so we've got pictures sliding through the background and then this over the top of all of them. So if you ever want to add a new photo, if you want to keep these here and just add a new one, what I would do is all you need to do is I would duplicate. So I would duplicate this slide, and then I would click on it, come into it, and then change the background image through the media library, pick whatever photo you want, and hit save. And that's all you would need to do, and it would show up there at the end. If you ever wanted to delete a slide, you could hit delete. You can rearrange the slides. And so essentially you could do the same thing if you wanted to delete this slide and then just change the background of any of those other slides. You could do that, but for what you're using, probably not going to do much else. That's how you would change those. If you ever want to know, the Ken Burns is how it gets that look, how it's zooming out like that on the photos. It's moving. That's changed from here. You can mess around with these numbers and then click play to see how it works. This is your static layer, so you could change items on here. You can change the size, you can move it around, if you ever wanted to. It's your site, you totally can do that. And slider settings. This is where the shortcode is for the this slider, so you could copy and paste that if you wanted to put it somewhere. And otherwise, I don't think you need to know much else about that. And slide editor is where we just were, where you can edit those slides. So moving on, WP Google Map, you're using that. So let's look at your locations that we're using. So you've got that set up to Springfield, Missouri. So if I ever want to change this, all I'd have to do is click edit and type in, you can change the title, you can change the address. All you have to do is start typing in something here and it will change the longitude and latitude for you. So you don't even have to worry about that. And click save location. If you wanted to add a new location, then you would go to add location and just start typing and then click save. And then under manage maps, that new location you created, it would look the same, would show up here, and you could click check. So, or you would go to, here's what you do. You go to the map, and we've got this set up, the width and the height for you so that it looks just right on this page. And we've got everything clicked so that it doesn't do a weird scrolling. So everything is set up just right. But if we added a new location, it'd be right here. And you would click the check and then it would show up. If you end up expanding where you're at or anything like that, that's how you would change that. And I don't know that you would be doing much else with WP Google Maps. And then Pods Admin, that's just part of what allows us to make those homepage areas. So those are the main things with your site, and hopefully that gets you started and helps you out. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or text or email, and we would love to help you. If something isn't on this video that you need help with, we would love to help you. So just let us know. But hopefully this gets you started.